Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
I'm Tom, a West Ham fan.
This is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of your team being last on match of the day and not getting the flowers they deserve? Well, that's about to change. Tom, what do we have for listeners this week?
Forest laid down their marker in North London in a relegation six-pointer, while West Ham roll over for Villa. Everton, Fulham and Brighton notch wins in the hunt for Europe as Brentford and Bournemouth draw. And Alex gets to take the smallest victory lap ever as his Tyne-Wear derby bold prediction comes true.
I told you. I'm one for one at the moment. I just need West Ham to go down 2 for 2.
Look, I know you were screaming as hard as any Sunderland fan when that 90th minute winner went in.
I don't know what I did actually. I was at the pub having a carvery with my girlfriend and yeah.
Well, you text me within like 2 seconds of that in school.
Yeah, just always right. What can I say?
The Oracle, I'm going to start calling you now.
Oh, God. To be fair, I'll talk about it during the game, but it felt like I wasn't on for a very long time in that game. But yeah, how you holding up anyway? You all good?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Bought some new Pokemon cards the other day. I've got a Meowth that I've got, and then I bought a couple of vintage ones.
For people listening, he's showing me the cards himself.
Yeah. So. For the audio podcast.
They're really cool and they're really shiny, and we're really proud of them.
Thank you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm just tired from work, but I'm tired from Cyprus as well. It was meant to be a recharging trip, but it ended up being working every single day apart from the match day. And then on the match day, it was one of the best football days out I think I've ever had. I was with my dad, who actually hates football.
Yeah.
We might put the video up on our socials of we're in the pub before the game and everyone's up cheering. My dad just sat there, like completely still, not cheering. But to be fair on him, he made a day of it. He had a good laugh. We went with my uncles as well. So yeah, it was awesome. But the maddest thing, and this was so Cypriot, is I was on the concourse looking around for beer, and it was like they only have soft drinks and non-alcoholic beer. And I was like, I'm just going to go and ask for this non-alcoholic beer and see what happens. Got the non-alcoholic beer, just normal beer.
Yeah. Like, that's how we're selling it. We can sell it if we call it non-alcoholic.
It was that. But being out there was just amazing. And yeah, to see Palace play in Europe, win Europe, go through in the style they did, which wasn't the best. Yeah, it wasn't the best game ever, but yeah, extra time win. Fuck it, I'm taking it.
Got past 9 men Larnaca in extra time, did you, mate?
Can only beat what's in front of you, mate. Can only beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, we beat them 2-0 easy doors a couple of years ago.
Different team now, mate. Different team now. They got European pedigree after playing you.
Yeah.
Oh, God, cool. Okay, let's take a break and then get into it. Okay, so Tom, I think there's only one place to start this week, isn't there?
There's definitely only one place to start, and that is Forest going into North London and by the scoreline battering Tottenham.
I think more than just the scoreline. I think to begin with, I'll be fair, I was like, oh wow, Spurs have kind of turned up for this one, and seems like maybe they can turn it around now. Maybe that Champions League performance was like a thing of, okay, they're going to get their shit in gear now. But then, I'm sorry, what happens just before half-time, conceding that type of goal from a corner, that's relegation stuff right there. And from that point on, I think it's all Forest. Like, it's amazing from Forest, and their players shine in a way that I think a team with those players should shine. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was I think overall it was a pretty even game, but I think one team took their chances completely and were like more clinical with their chances. I think Tottenham had more shots overall, but they were a bit more wayward. And
Forest half chances to me, if I'm being honest. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a couple of big saves that Sales has pulled in for, but there was nothing where I was sat there like, okay, that's like they're living dangerously here, Forest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they were a bit wayward, whereas you look at Forest chances, they were clinical. The majority of them were on target. And you're right. I think both teams had chances before that first goal, but I think scoring that, you're right. It's simple stuff, like just heading a corner back from where it came from. He's completely lost his marker in Jed Spence. Heads
Can
it
we,
back to the other corner. Keeper's never saving those.
yeah, can we touch on the Dragon Ball celebration as well, which was absolutely class. I got time for. I know you love your anime, but I love Dragon Ball, so yeah, Ego Jesus was in my good books for that. But
Yeah, nice. But yeah, scoring just before half time kind of takes. And Forest are always a team who play with a lead really well.
yeah,
They've all like for the past couple of years since Nuno's days, they've been tough to get a lead off. Like when they're one up, and it felt like that as well. They gained confidence from that. They were able to stifle Tottenham pretty well. I, I know the goal is just before half time, but then it does go down the other end before the whistle is blown, and it's never a penalty on
oh,
Romero from Williams. He goes over, like feels the slightest touch, and then drops to his knees.
mate, it's the most pathetic thing ever, isn't it? He gets like touched on the shoulder, doesn't he, and goes down like he's shot.
Yeah,
And it's it's embarrassing. I get maybe they're doing I want to say they're doing everything they can to like get out of the situation and stuff like that. You just do it out of desperation. But we've seen Romero do that type of shit constantly, so it's
yeah.
just a bit like
I think it's just that kind of player. Like,
yeah,
and it's possibly sort of the South Americans like school of thought of like I've been touched in the box, I'll go down,
yeah,
but that it was never enough there.
yeah.
But I mean, I think it was a save from themselves that led to that, or it hit the crossbar. So like Forest sort of get their slices of luck as well. But then the second goal in the second half, Gibbs
Oh,
White just got like freedom of the pitch. Like
it's
he just picks it up
unbelievable.
in midfield, and there's no one within like 20 yards of him. I think he's surprised at how much space he's got. He just brings it forward a bit, lays it off, and then he goes into the box, and then no one is within 10 yards of him, and he's just sitting on the penalty spot. Like I couldn't believe it. That is schoolboy defending, and like props to Gibbs White for finding the space, but got a team fighting relegations, leaving that much space in the penalty box for a player as talented as Gibbs White, and a player that Tottenham should know pretty well, given they were desperately trying to
Yeah.
sign him last
Mate, I
summer.
was going to say, I was thinking Spurs thought they'd actually signed him, just giving him freedom of the pitch like that. They thought he was going to clear it, not put it in the back of the net, because it's unreal amount of space. Like to run with it, okay, fair enough. Like maybe you're more worried about Elliot Anderson, maybe more worried about the other people on the pitch, but then to let him just stroll into the box, look around, like not have a player within 10 yards of him, it seems, and just be like, oh, okay. And then the final cherry on top is he puts it basically straight at the keeper and it goes straight through Vicario.
Yeah, the keeper should do much better. Like it's not. Gibbs White hasn't blasted it. It's got pace on it, but he hasn't blasted it, and the keeper does get a fairly good hand to it. So he should really do better with that.
But also go give Hudson-Odoi props to like be his man and put the good to be able to find Morton Gibbs White in the box as well. It's just yeah, from that point it is kind of delirium for Forest because I think everyone in that stadium knew Spurs weren't coming back into it after that.
Yeah, I know you like recently wanted to touch on Spurs results and stuff, and I did put one note down for Spurs. I don't know if you saw, but like the arrival that their fans gave them before the match, where they were like lighting flares and like it was like almost like they'd won the title sort of thing. It was like that. Remember that? I think it was the Everton Palace game years ago where they were like fighting relegation, and they like the fans gave them the big arrival to like buoy them on to do that and then lose 3-0.
Mate, it's honestly, was talking to someone about this at work because I was at that Palace Everton game. It's the one where I broke my metatarsal celebrating Mateta's goal. But I remember being there and like all the flares were going off, like everything I was wearing was blue. I was surrounded by Everton fans. I was like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. This is like a moment in football. I want Everton to stay up at this rate. It's
Yeah,
like, it is so good. And then you saw the seeds of the Spurs one. I was like, this looks really lame. Like really, really lame. Like why is it lame? Is it because Spurs doing? I think it's probably because the North London club's doing it. Because as we know, North London is lame.
I think it is the point of like it being Spurs having to do that in this situation, but then also you cut to 2-0 and it just goes back to the game against Palace where uh, the broadcaster is just showing picture, like just showing all the faces in the crowd looking terribly miserable, and it's just like, yeah, that didn't work, did it, guy?
Just about that. It just looking at it, it didn't have the emotion behind it. Almost like, oh yeah, we're gonna turn up. It's a bit like kind of showy. Players will like it.
Yeah,
Just there's something a bit plastic about it. I don't know if I'm being mean, but it's just
but
how it felt from the scenes I saw.
yeah, and then Awani puts him at 3-0, icing on the cake for a player who's had a tough couple of years with that injury and trying to get back to full fitness. I think everyone of a Forest affinity absolutely loved that goal. And yeah, there were just Forest fans left in the stadium for an hour or so after the match, just cheering with the players and that.
And Iron go, like, it's the type of goal we've seen him scoring before, so hopefully he's going to get back into that form. The way he just outmuscles Danso, I think is it's a bit embarrassing, really, for was Danso meant to be a Champions League centre back as well. Like, it's just what is going on there. But yeah,
But
do you
yeah, I
think?
mean, there's one team who wanted it more,
Yeah,
and
it's simple.
it puts the relegation race in an interesting place because Forest had probably, well, Tottenham had definitely looked the worst of the teams, but it changes every week. They'd got that last minute draw against Liverpool. You thought maybe that will give, and then the Atletico game in the Champions League might give them some hope, some optimism. But then you look now and it's like, wow, Forest should take. Is it one where they should take loads of optimism from this, or is it okay? They beat Tottenham, who are like one of the worst teams in the league right now.
That's yeah, it is, isn't it? That's when we beat them in that midweek game. It was kind of the same thing. You walked away like, oh, okay, we're going to go on a run. We're going to be fine. And then I can't remember who we lost to straight after. And it was just like, oh, maybe it was just like Dr. Spurs, like looking after us. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you want to talk about West Ham quickly and then we can sum up how you feel about the whole relegation race? I mean, is there
Sure.
much to talk about West Ham? Because from what I saw, it looked like one-way traffic that game.
Yeah, I at first I buried this game because there really wasn't much to talk about. It kind of like if you just zoomed out and didn't have my personal interest in this game, it would have been like quite a just cut and dry. But I didn't bury it. I put it up with this one just because it ties in with the game above it so well. Aston Villa 2, West Ham nil. We'll start with just go through Villa first, just to do them and then cut back to the relegation race. It was
No Tammy Abraham curse for you. That's all
no,
I'm saying.
my team will definitely try and disprove the Tammy Abraham curse that you've created, just to get one over on you. It was just one-way traffic for most of the game, to be honest, especially in the first half. That it's really for the first goal, which could have come earlier from a couple of set pieces. Mavropanos was just absolutely like sensational in this game. He stopped it from being more than two. But the first goal was a really, really well worked free kick, just perfectly weighted pass from Jadon Sancho, and then McGinn just sweeps it into the far corner. I was absolutely sick of seeing the cameras cut to Austin McPhee, their set piece coach with the long hair. I was just like, guys, seeing clips of the managers has already got way too much. I don't need to be watching the clips of the set piece coach.
See, when I saw that, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I didn't know Emery had a touchline ban, but no, it was just going to the set piece
Yeah,
coaches.
they
Oh, wow.
just kept going to him, and he got a yellow card later in the match. Set piece coaches need to calm down a bit, I think. But yeah, I think for Villa, Barkley, McGinn, Onana, Rogers just absolutely dominated the midfield. They had like those two, obviously, Rogers playing a bit further forward, McGinn sort of playing in the sort of 10 in this one. They just made life hell for the West Ham midfield, who it was a difficult game for us. Like you going away to, I know Villa weren't in great form, but you're going away to Aston Villa, who needed to right their ship and get back on the charge for Champions League football. And Jean-Claire Todibo gets injured in the warm-up. Nuno decides to mix the formation and go with Freddie Potts instead of going like for like and putting Max Kilman in, which I think is kind of the death knell for Kilman's
That's
West
crazy,
Ham
isn't it?
career, unless like unless he's absolutely forced to play him, which, with Todibo out and Mavropanos putting his head in the way of everything and looking a bit shaken up at one point, looked like he might have to turn to Kilman. But yeah, he clearly sent him a sign that said, "You're like, I'd rather change the system than put you in." But that definitely didn't help. And yeah, and then second half, decent spell from West Ham after half time where they got a couple of subs on and mixed it up a little bit, but were always chasing it. And then the second goal just kills the game off. And it's just Hermansen just absolutely gifted Watkins one, which, Hermansen's been better in recent weeks, but that was just terrible keeping. Good finish,
Yeah,
but
I made the
terrible
note
goal.
that maybe he should be doing better with that Rodgers shot, but yeah, you can't really shit on him after everything he's done for the past few weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't going to get back into this one. I don't think. I think we could have been playing for a while and not scored. But
Yeah.
and then my last note on this game is just that Paul Tierney's a mug for thinking that tackle from Mavropanos was a penalty.
How did that go to VAR? That was mad. Like, it's just them using it as a comfort blanket, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like, I know it's been bandied about a
Wouldn't
lot this week with what happened in one of the later games, but that's a bit mad that one went to VAR. Well, no, a bit mad he gave that one then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an idiot. Like, it was clear foul outside the box, but he gives the penalty thinking that Mavropanos hasn't touched the ball when it's the cleanest tackle you will ever see.
I just realised everything I said made no fucking sense because he gave the penalty. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, at least
Yeah,
okay.
thank God we
Back,
had VAR in that.
yeah, back VAR. Yeah, sorry. Good, I'm too tired. Too tired. Cool. Okay. I guess how did you feel then about the Forest result? Like in a bigger scheme of things for relegation battle for you, what did you want out of that game to begin with? And do you think it's left just you and Spurs now, or do you think Forest are still in it? And yeah, I think I've heard was it Leeds have the easiest run of games in the league left. Forest and Spurs have medium ones, and you have the hard one. Is that right? Or am I out my
Yeah,
arm?
I don't think. Uh, I think Forest and Spurs still have difficult ones. I think ours is slightly harder because we face a lot of the mid-table teams. Um, whereas like we
Sometimes it's
don't.
better to get mid-table teams because they've got nothing to play for. Do you know what I mean?
You say that. Unfortunately, there's about 7 teams within about 4 points of each other at the moment in that mid-table. So like, there's
Yeah,
about 7 teams going for Europe who like only one of them is probably going to get Europe.
yeah.
So they're all probably like still playing for something. But you're right. It might still catch one of them on an off day. I think we
To be
only play
fair, that
Arsenal
cliche,
as a top four team for the rest of the season. So
yeah, that cliche doesn't work this year, does it? Because all the teams can still get Euro.
yeah, exactly. But no, I mean. I wanted a draw in that Forest Spurs game just because that keeps both of them in the mix more. It's we won't really talk about Leeds in this episode because they drew 0-0, but they're just sort of notching their way to safety. But I do think this was more of a, I don't want to look too downly on this weekend because Forest won and West Ham lost because this was always a difficult game for West Ham. We play Wolves next in the Premier League, and that's a game that we absolutely have to win. I know Wolves have been decent in the last couple of
Mm.
months,
If you win
but we
that as
have to
well,
win that one.
you drop Spurs into the relegation zone as well, don't you? If you win that, because it's the Friday
Yeah,
night
and I
game.
think if you look at if you take just our last 3 games as a sample size, Villa, Man City, Fulham, we got 4 points out of them. That's probably what you would have wanted out of those 3 games, like especially like playing Man City and Villa in back to back. You get a point out of that. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like Spurs are just a point ahead of us. I still think Forest are in it. I think we touched on it. Like, the, uh, was it them being that good or is it Tottenham being that bad? I don't think Forest. I mean, they could surprise me and go on some run, but I think there's still. I think all 4 teams are still in it because I think things can change really quickly with like if we say knock on wood, West Ham beat Wolves next, and then all of these 3 teams lose, or 2 of them lose, it's right back to where we are. Like,
Yeah, it's
like
true.
it's,
I
it's
personally
still
think
7 games to go. So
yeah, there's still loads. I personally think like that win for Forest, the way everyone's building up, it's surely got to give them some momentum, and hopefully It might bring points and pints to Nottingham if Pereira in charge. But yeah, I mean, great day. I mean, the Forest fans in our way end as well look like they're having the absolute time of their lives, like you touched on. But it's still going to be interesting, that relegation battle, and it's going to be crazy if you guys beat Wolves and then Spurs lose to Sunderland away, which is I can't see them winning that game, and then them ending in the relegation zone when all games are played for a game week. It's going to be surreal to see that so close to the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like things will chop and change. Like unless this
Yeah.
defeat just knocks the confidence out of West Ham, which it shouldn't.
But no, I don't think it will. I think you guys are you're too many experienced heads there that have been through stuff like this before to be like, okay, just take it a game at a time, let what happened happen, and go for it. Whereas I don't think Spurs have that. Any last words on the relegation race before we move on to the other games in the week?
Somerville will be back for the rest of the run-in, so West Ham will be safe. Knock on wood.
Cool. Okay. I guess the next place to go is probably the Hill Dickinson.
Yeah, absolutely stunning result for Everton. 3-0 against Chelsea, and just picked him off.
You did not see that one coming, did we? Moyes breaks the curse against the top 16. I had this game being complete other way around, but Everton kind of battered them, didn't they? They just didn't let Chelsea play their game at all. They were all over them, really up for it. It just really wasn't expected for me. And I think it shows Everton really in the chase for a European place this year, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. It was like a perfect Moyes game plan, being able to sort of play like the away team at home kind of thing, where defensively really solid, picking up Jordan Pickford's 100th clean sheet for Everton, which I know I give him some stick, but that is a very impressive feat.
It's mental. I know he's been there for quite a while now, but 100 clean sheets seems an insane amount.
Yeah, yeah, really, really impressive. And there was one save in particular from Enzo Fernandez from like 6 yards out in this one that was really, really good.
Hey, why are you praising him? This isn't like you. Like,
Well,
if you get
wait till our team of the season. I've looked at the goal. I've had an early look, and I've looked at the goalkeepers, and unfortunately, it's going to be T-Rex arms. Spoiler.
but his T-Rex arm was strong for that header, wasn't it?
It
Like,
was. See, strong
proper.
hands. Vicario could learn a thing or two from Jordan Pickford. Uh,
But yeah, otherwise, Beto was feeling himself in this game, wasn't he?
Mate, it was the best I've ever seen Beto play. Like that first
Beto,
goal is really huh?
the besto.
The besto, yes. I could see you couldn't stop yourself. That first goal though, like I think is it's just a perfect goal. Like it's really, really nice. Like it's not going to win goal of the season, but that is just like one that you work on the training ground. Like that's exactly how Everton want to play. Like a killer pass from James Garner that takes out two lines of Chelsea defence. Like then takes out a couple of midfielders and like goes past like all of their defenders. Like it's just a proper killer pass from Garner, and Beto was just eating up grass with those long legs. I'm pretty sure it's probably only like two strides that he made with how long his gait is in that in chasing past Fofana.
That, but then I didn't even realize it was like a nice little dink over the keeper as well. I
Oh
thought he
yeah, he
just
like stabs
legged
it
it.
past him, doesn't he? Like it's really really nice to like he sees Sanchez rushing out and he's just like right, I've got one move here. Let me just dink it through, and it's so nice.
Or is it Sanchez going to have nightmares about Beto because just
Mm.
before that as well, he nearly nicks it off him when he's trying to be a bit too clever, isn't he?
Yeah,
And
we all want to see those go in. Like
yeah,
we're all desperate to see those go in. They happen so rarely.
yeah, it's just yeah. I feel like touching on Sanchez again. I feel like he had main character energy in this game for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean he's got that in his bag, and yeah, he's not a good goalkeeper. So I think Everton realised that and pinpointed that and was like, that's why you see Beto going getting up in his face, and I think we've seen it from other teams as well, who have gone. He's a weak spot in this Chelsea team. Rather than let him give him time, press him and force him into making silly decisions, and it worked for Everton. It didn't obviously come through that time, but you put 1 ounce of doubt in a goalkeeper's mind, and you can feast on that later.
Hey, I've got nothing against Sanchez. He dropped the ball straight onto James Tompkins' head in an A23 derby. So love him for that.
Sure.
But yeah, then I guess staying kind of Sanchez. Beto puts one straight through him after a great a gay inception, which is kind
Oh
of like you're
yeah,
saying before. Like it's exactly how Moyes want to play, isn't it? Get him on a break, get down there, sit in your shell, and then go. And it was great play from Gay to set up the whole
yeah. That second goal is all down to the work of Idris Gueye pinching the ball in his own defensive half, and then seeing that there's no one in about 60 yards ahead of him, and he just like he doesn't have good control of the ball at one point. It's the ball's like 20 yards ahead of him, but there's just no Chelsea player near him, and this is something that earlier in his career Gay wasn't really doing. He was very much a sitter. Like he was just going to make tackles, just going to sit in front of the back four. I think later in his career he has got forward a little bit more. I think he's pitched in with a few more goals than he did earlier in his career, and gets an assist for this one with a really, really good run. Sees the Beto run, who's just absolutely free in the box, ghosts in behind one of the Chelsea defenders, and it's a great part. It's a really like well weighted pass because a defensive midfielder can overhit that pass or
yeah.
underhit
I
that
didn't think
pass, and Beto has to get it out of his feet or anything. But Beto doesn't have to do any of that, and he can get the shot off nice and cleanly, and it squirms under Sanchez.
I didn't think he had it in his locker like run and pass. And being honest, and like what you're saying, you'd expect that more at the beginning of a career, and you'd like go back into a holding midfielder more
Mm.
as your career goes on. But like fair enough. And then third goal, and I with an absolute streamer. Like I think that's the most top bins goal I've seen the whole season.
I don't think it can get any more top bins without it possibly not going in,
I do
because
know
like
it.
there was that one specific angle of it where it like looks behind the flight of the ball, and it literally it's like kisses the post, but
He
like
couldn't
just from the
place it. It's like
inside. So like he couldn't have, if he'd have hit that an inch to the right, it probably hits the post and like bounces across goal, and maybe it doesn't go in.
it's beautiful, isn't it? He's that guy, and I really wish he was at Palace. I wish we'd taken all those chances to
And
sign him when apparently he was available.
and Beto turned provider for it. He got the nod on to flick it on for Endai to do that. So two goals and an assist in for Beto this week. And I saw he was the Premier League player of the match week, which was fair enough.
The other thing's crazy because what Barry was starting games just before him, and I think, like I said, I think it's good that they have both those players because I think one of them will go through a purple patch here and there, and when the other one drops out, you can try and play the other one into a
Yeah,
purple patch.
the difference is when you were saying this, neither of
Neither
them
of
were
them.
playing or scoring, and you kept banging on about this, and it was like, yeah, but you want one of them to do all right.
Hey, it was always going to come good. It was,
Yeah, very optimistic, but no, I mean, the theory was right. It's just now that they've shown it since the theory has been out there, where Barry had his purple patch, and then goals have dried up for him a little bit in recent weeks, and Beto's come into the team and is sort of playing his way into being the starting role for now, and then I'm sure Barry will get his time again.
I'm just Oracle. What can I say? Say
Ah,
things when they happen.
he loves the nickname.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's probably everything from the game.
Just one last
No,
thing, back-to-back wins at the Hill Dickinson for the first time,
in
which
the Premier League for the
in the
first time in the
Premier
Premier
League.
League.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they'd already done that. If I'm being honest, I thought that good start to the season they would have done it in because they went off to a fly at the beginning of the season, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think a few of them are away.
Yeah, fair. I mean, go on Everton, make that place home. It will never be as good as Goodison, but I've heard people saying it was getting pretty loud. On Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday night that game, wasn't it? So
Mm.
yeah, good atmosphere to be able to build there. But cool. Okay, should we move on to Fulham and Burnley?
Yeah, yeah. Another
Yeah.
team chasing Europe. Fulham 3, Burnley 1.
Bit of an odd game this one because I thought Fulham should have really taken it away from Burnley. Do you agree? To begin
Yeah,
with,
well, I watched the first half of this, and of course, that was the half with no goals. But it was kind of a surprise that there wasn't a goal in the first half but yeah, I think Fulham definitely had the better of it, and surprised it took them so long to sort of step up to the next gear. It did kind of feel like that, like Fulham were playing in second gear a little bit and thinking, well, we'll eventually find winners against Burnley, which they did, but they did have to go into first gear into to it once they went 1-0 down.
Yeah, it just felt like they weren't really going too far at it, but it was like you guys can probably do this if you try.
Oh
Which
yeah, like
sounds really mean. But then Calvin Bassey handball shout, never ever handball for me. I don't know why it's getting looked at.
ooh,
You think it was handball?
I'm I'm definitely not as certain as you are. I don't, you know me, I don't want to give handballs for things that aren't deliberate. But if like the letter of the law, it is not a supporting arm. Like he's not on the ground. Like the arm isn't on the ground. Like so. By the letter of the law, I'm surprised that it wasn't given. I don't want these to be given,
Yeah,
but if that was me, and I've seen some of the other handballs that have gone on this year, I would have been thinking that's a handball.
yeah. If I had been given against me, I'd be absolutely apoplectic. Because he's supporting because he's going down to make the slide tackle,
Yeah, but
but
he's
he's
not.
like,
Yeah, but he's not supporting him yet.
oh fuck off. That can't be.
Yeah,
That
but
can't.
you can make a slide without putting your hand out like that. Like
If
you
he's
can slide with your arms in your body.
like he's going down a water slide, he just needs to get the
You can
momentum.
slide with your arms in your body.
Not having it. So what? His head would have to like wallop the ground when he's going down
No,
with
you
the.
land on your shoulder and on your side.
Because you got to you got to put some of your hand down to do that.
Nah, you can slide. You can slide without putting your whole arm out like that.
Nah, not having it. Not having it. That's just fair and
As
natural.
I say, I don't want these to be given. I just think by the letter of the law, I'm surprised that this wasn't given.
Mr. Handball wanting over here. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, okay, let's move on to something that's a bit more cut and dry. Fleming's goal, and he very much let the Millwall out when he scored his diving header by choking Leno for some reason.
Well, that's not the goal. That was
Oh,
when
that's
that was
before the
he
goal.
should have scored in the first half, and then he heads it right at Leno, and then you're right. He just got like it's a difficult chance, but there's no need to choke him out for it, bro.
He let the intrusive thoughts out. That's all I could say. Thought he
He
was back
must
at the
have,
game.
like, you've been there at some point on the football field where, like, you, like maybe like defending a corner, or like remember that guy who defends a corner like in the '90s and he like touches the other the other guy's like balls. Was it Vinnie Jones or something?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it was like that intrusive thoughts just take over sometimes when you're on the pitch, and yeah, Fleming just decides to strangle him, throttle him.
So strange. So strange. But then he does get his goal,
He does in the
which
second half, yeah. After a half for Fulham where Wilson just hits a couple of sighters, and that's pretty much it. Fleming does break the deadlock in the second half.
yeah, he does, and pretty easy for him as well. Like picked out, puts it home quite nicely. I think Anderson should probably be doing better there, picking him up. I know for Palace he did this quite a lot, where he'd lose his man in the box and they'd be left just to stick it in. But that was what I guess Fulham needed to kick them into gear, really, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah, well, one thing about Fleming I've realised after this game was that he is the definition of a hot streak player. He is got this is his third in his last four games, and earlier in the season he scored 5 in 7, and then outside of that he's just gone on like barren spells. So
that's actually crazy.
like
So
like peak definition of a hot streak player. Like
that is crazy. But then, what we have Dubravka doing what you said. He can't be a Premier League keeper, and yeah,
I just think over the course of a season he's just not up to Premier League level, and he's going to make some mistakes, and he makes one in this one, and Josh King with his first Premier League goal capitalizes on it.
yeah. I mean, he's all. I mean, I'm being really harsh on him, but it destroys all of Burnley's good work to be able to get that lead and get something to hold on to. And then once it happens, it's a bit of a crumble, really. Like you say, King
Yeah.
gets his first goal. Then Wilson has one of those sighters go in, which it felt very Iron Robin that goal, cutting in on his, what was it, kind of on his left and putting it past the keeper.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I hadn't really thought about that, but there was a very Arjen Robin like cutting in on his left. I mean, Wilson loves doing that as well, and a lot of modern forwards do that. Arjen Robin would make an absolute killing in the game these days with how every forward is a inside forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Wilson's sixth shot of the game, so it taken a few of those sighters. eventually got his goal, and it's the 2 goals in 6 minutes. King's first and Wilson second that turned the game around, and yeah, that's that's kind of sees Burnley off, I think, but they do have a couple of chances to equalise with Laurent and Hartman come
Yeah,
close, but kind of half
Lauren
in that.
has a
Lawrence
yeah,
one is he should probably do better with, but
yeah, and then he goes down the other end and sees red for what I think is a bit harsh.
it's
I can't work
soft
it
in
out.
it.
Yeah, I couldn't work it out because I was like, you don't usually see them given once the players had the chance to like kind of get the ball and take a kind of shot.
Well,
So
I thought this, but I've been seeing this recently quite a lot where they've let the player have the chance and then still called it back for a penalty. Even that Paul Tierney one in the West Ham Villa game where it wasn't, he let Morgan Rogers have a shot and then he went and gave a penalty. And it's like, well, you're giving them 2 chances now.
yeah,
Like,
you
well,
can't give them
I thought
both.
we got rid of all this. Like, you call the penalty or you let them have their chance.
But the thing is, they're probably doing that because they're I'm going back to VAR again, but they're doing that because they're probably like, oh, if they score from here, then we can check VAR and I don't have to worry about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it is a weird one, but yeah, I mean, Fulham were comfortably winning this game anyway by that point, and I was going to say just Jimenez stopping his run up, but I don't really care enough. Like, some of the Burnley players looked like they were annoyed by it, but meh.
I mean, yeah, I don't think a draw would have really helped Burnley in this situation. But I was happy to see Jimenez score because he was pretty emotional after the match, given his father passed away recently. And Raul Jimenez he's never played for my team, but someone I've looked at with fondness because of obviously his head injury and just sort of how resilient a footballer he has been in his time in the Premier League and that. And yeah, I know was reading up on it. His father was pretty instrumental in sort of like helping him get back after that massive head injury and being a footballer, and obviously very instrumental in his life. So yeah, he scored his first goal since his father passed away earlier this month. So yeah, it was a nice touch.
Nice, cool. Anything else you want to touch on that game, or should we move on to Brighton Liverpool?
Brighton Liverpool.
Cool. Lewis Dunk's a really good defender. Let's discuss.
You couldn't even wait until we talked about the second goal.
What a go! What a go! Like, brilliant through ball by Dunk off the top of his head. Like, you just gotta stand there and
All right,
applaud a world-class player for that.
we'll just jump to the Liverpool goal in this, whereas to make it 1-1, we'll just ignore the first goal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was only one goal in this game for me. It was 1-0 Liverpool. I don't know
Lewis
what you're on
Dunk,
about.
don't play blind headed passes like that. It's just there's just no need for it. Like
Mate,
you just
why is he
go.
not in the England team? You need that type of stuff at the back. You were saying you're worried about concert at the back. Gay Dunk, let's do it.
I'm not worried.
Okay.
I want England to call him up. Sounds great.
He should be playing every position of the pitch. Um,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
rewind back to Brighton making it 1-0. Danny Welbeck header from close range. He keeps Kanate at arm's length. I think it's on the verge of a foul. Like, I don't think it is a foul, but I think we've seen them given where it's like if you kind of make a little bit of a shoving motion with your arm. Like if you have if you stick your arm out fully and the defender like juts forward as if he's been pushed. I think we've seen quite often those get flagged.
yeah, but I mean, if Liverpool decide to shit the bed just before the goal, fuck it, they can have it. I don't care. If Liverpool have to play a second choice keeper and shit the bed against Brighton when they've been in good form against other teams, then yeah, you know what, Danny Welbeck, you can have your two goals and go home happy. I guess. I'm not in a good mood about this game, as you can probably tell.
Definitely not. I mean, Minter, I think, was maybe a little bit lucky to not go off. He's been yellow carded earlier in the match, and then he doesn't get a second yellow for what's definitely a dive, but I don't think
I
he really appeals for it. So
Yeah, to be fair, I'm on that one. I'm not going to be a dick. I actually want to talk about that because there's so many different occasions in the Premier League where people are clearly diving and not getting a yellow card. People are
Yeah.
going down under a challenge in the box, not appealing, getting a yellow card. There's no consistency with that whatsoever. It's just what the referee feels like. And I
Mhm.
feel like the referees just play it by like, oh, I probably need to give a yellow. He's gone down. I can give that. Oh, he's on a second yellow. I'm not going to give that. Oh, I don't want to like have to worry about that. We'll see what VAR says, and then I'll forget to give a yellow card if it is a dive. It's kind of
Yeah.
all in that grey zone, which it's an
Yeah.
annoying one, but yeah, it's
I
fair.
mean, Brighton were in this game. Like Brighton had this game in the palm of their hands for a lot of it. Like they were probably the better team overall, I think, and they capitalised on that in the second half. A Welbeck tap in after Hinshelwood does really well to get onto the ball and square it, and
He
it's
not offside
definitely on.
though.
Nah, it's definitely onside.
Oh, man, I only saw one angle of it. I'm guessing, but he looked well offside. I thought I was
Do you
going
mean
mad.
do you mean Welbeck or Hinshelwood?
Welbeck, yeah.
Welbeck. I don't think so. I mean, I've seen the angles, and one, I'm really glad that we're not calling that offside because it's just not what the law of the game, like the rule of the game, was brought in for.
I don't care. I'm not glad about that. I want
I
that to
know
be
you're
offside.
not, but I'm still I'm still unbiased here. So yeah, no, I just really don't think we should be seeing those as those that kind of tight call chalked as offside if it's by a toenail or whatever. It's just not what the law of offside was brought in for.
No, it was
And
brought off
so I was
when
very
people's
glad it was.
noses are offside. That's when it was brought in for.
Yeah, yeah. Only if your nose is offside. You have a smaller nose, mate. Yeah, no, I was just really glad it wasn't. And yeah, Welbeck, top scoring Englishman in the Premier League, didn't get an England call up because England setup is trash.
I gotta give Danny Welbeck his flowers. Like that guy Welbs still is mentally still scoring goals like this. Like this feels like he's been playing football since was it 2000s, and yeah,
Well, yeah,
good.
I mean that Sunderland season was 09-10, I believe. So
That's mad, isn't it? That's absolutely mad.
yeah, he's
But yeah,
coming up on 20 years, and he looks like he's aging with fine wine as well. Like he's had probably his best goal scoring seasons past couple years. This one, I think, might be his best goal scoring season in the Premier League, maybe now.
yeah, I think it is.
Hmm.
It is now. Yeah, and I mean, it puts Brighton into European places. Well, a European. What am I saying? In the chance of European places. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, yeah, I remember a couple of weeks ago they were I think we did the double episode where they were battling for 12th with Crystal Palace, and now they're up in 10th. And I think for a time this weekend, because this was the early kickoff, I think they were 8th. And you look at it now, like Brentford, those 3 draws in recent matches have allowed a chasing pack to come in, and what seemed like 7th was pretty solid for them. There's now 4 points splitting them and 13th. So, as I said, that middle pack are all probably gunning for one European spot. I don't think 8th would, well, maybe 8th will if Palace win the Conference League or something like that.
I was about to say, if we won the Conference League, does that knock someone out, or does that knock it down one more?
I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to dig into. I'd have to remember last year I did the ranking, the what how it all will play out on the last day of the season. That really helped you out to understand it.
Yeah, I
I'll have
just
to I'll have to
understand that now.
I'll have to refresh my memory and figure it out for you.
God,
But I'll
if
try and do
we
that. I'll try and do that.
if we
Ahead of
won the
next week.
Conference League and that knocked Brighton out of Europe, that would be delicious. But
What a small man you are.
no, the last thing I want to touch, talking about small men, the last thing I want to touch on is my mate Daniel went to this game with his dad, both in the home end. Under their jacket, one of them wore a Liverpool shirt, one wore a Brighton shirt, and then what was it? Danny swapped his dad's one with the Brighton shirt at the end of the game just so he could feel proud. So talk about outrageous shit Brighton fans do.
They're your mates. So I won't say nothing. I mean, I think Brighton could have had a third in this game easily and actually just like killed Liverpool off, which I don't think Brighton have done that well this season, killing teams off. I think they've had chances, but still, really good win for Brighton. And yeah, you're right, puts them in that mix for Europe for a European spot.
Yeah, cool. Should we move on to the Tyne-Wear derby?
Let's go on. Let's take your victory lap.
Can't believe we're only talking about this now, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It was a better game than the one at the Stadium of Light for
Yeah,
sure. It still wasn't the best game we've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I sat down in the pub and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be the best day ever." Start watching it, I was like, "Ah, like mistake from Luca 9," and then Gordon opens the score. It's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome." Then nothing really happened for quite a while.
yeah, it was like Newcastle on top for the first 15 minutes. Alanga has a couple of chances. They get that goal after Voltemada wins the ball from a mess from '09 and Elborg. Just unnecessary mess. Just clear your lines. It's
What
like
was the
so early in a
thing?
derby. Just stop. Don't play silly games.
What was it? Match of the day, they were saying it was their tactic to get to Bobby like the whole time, and that was like how they were trying to get it to him. And I was like, I don't see that there. I don't know.
No.
Like, I don't know if that's right. If that's the right analysis for using there. I think it was just badly hit pass, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. But you're playing with fire if you're doing that, and '09's only started 2 games this season, so you're asking for trouble there. I think, especially when Elborg has only really been a starting goalkeeper for about a year with Malmo and now Sunderland. He's only played a few games with Robin Roofs out with a hamstring injury. But yeah, you're right. It was really a game of two halves. I
Yeah,
think
massively.
Newcastle definitely had the better of it in the first half, even though they didn't capitalise on that going 1-0 up. They didn't put Sunderland to the sword when they had chances to. They definitely could have got a couple more, and they needed a couple more because Sunderland came out second half completely different team. They
Mate, rocking up the arse stuff, wasn't it? It was crazy. And
Yeah,
Talby obviously gets the goal from the corner, which Ramsdale should probably be catching. I mean, I'm not too far
yeah. I
offense
mean, it's
can't.
just a bit of a mess. It's like a bit of like ping pong around in the box. Like I think it's a little bit harsh, but yeah,
Yeah, and then from there, it just looked like Sunderland were all over it. Like they were, there's one team that was going to get the winner, and it felt like it'd be them. A bit of me did think maybe Newcastle would nick it on the break or something,
well,
but
Newcastle almost did have it, but Malik Tior's goal was disallowed because Murphy was offside and fouling the keeper. It was like pick your poison with that one. Just yeah,
he's going to make sure it's completely disallowed. Like,
if you just do 2 fouls, that's great. But yeah, but it did feel like Sunderland had the momentum, and that goal, that disallowed goal, kind of came against the run of play a little bit. And then yeah, towards the end of the match, it was Sunderland pushing for it, and I think Newcastle kind of holding on. And yeah, Brian Brobby in the 90th minute. There's just no one's tracking him, so it's poor defending again from Newcastle, which we've seen quite a lot of this season. And then he gets it at the second attempt, but yeah, just absolute scenes in the gods of St James's Park.
it was that, wasn't it? Like I said, the game didn't like live up in the middle of it all, but for that ending, it was for like 5 minutes. It's like, damn, this is what it's all about for a Tyne-Wear derby, isn't it? Taking his shirt off, celebrating what looked like directly Newcastle fans, like staring him down. Because, like you say, we've been to St James's Park. Like the away fans got to be looking upwards like
Yeah,
that, but he was just like straight deadpan, like at the Newcastle
I
fans
mean you have to.
screaming and tense it. It was just like, yeah, I'd do that. I'd do that. I've had the balls in the derby.
Yeah, I mean from a Newcastle perspective, I would just like obviously this has been a horrible week, losing 7-2 against Barcelona and then
That was a
losing the
game
derby
though.
2-1.
That game in Champions League, like I know we don't talk about Champions League much, but Newcastle in it of a 14 team. That game to begin with was one of the best games of football I've ever watched. It was complete fucking madness. It was like I was at my Greek family's house and couldn't understand a word they were saying, and they had the game on. I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this, and it was just like, what is happening? Like, what's going on? But yeah, then they got completely crumbled by the scoreline, which wasn't great. But there was times in that game when like Elanga was looking shit hot, and it looked like they actually had Barca on the ropes.
But
But yeah,
I think that's the thing. He scores two against Barcelona, and then he has two chances in the first half against Sunderland, and he really should be scoring one of them. Especially I think the first one was a really good chance, and it was still 0-0 at that point. And I just think he like for someone who's had such a difficult season, you would have hoped scoring two against Barcelona would have given him some courage, some like a boost ahead of this match, and he puts one of those away, and then maybe this game turns out differently for Newcastle. But yeah, it's definitely a big blow for them to have lost both of the derbies this season.
Yeah, but mate, Oracle knew it was going to happen. I mean, do you think Eddie Howe might be in trouble at the end of the season?
I would be surprised if Eddie Howe's in charge next season. Like
That's what
I think at this point, I just think it's almost a given. Like I just yeah, with Champions League now gone, I think it's a given that they won't. They'll move on.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Cool. Anything else you want to touch on? Or should we move on to the Friday night game?
No, yeah, both of those teams in that mix of seven teams who within 4 points of each other, so a European spot is still on the cards for either of them.
Yeah, when we beat City, you can include us in those 17, well, those 8 teams then.
To be fair,
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Trying to rattle me underneath it all.
well, no, it's just you're in an island of 14th at the moment.
I see your shithousery. But cool. Bournemouth 2, United 2, you called it correct, Desmond.
Hey, I'm the Oracle now.
Oh, cool. Cool. I just had pens and VAR in this game. It's the one media really jumped on quite quickly.
I mean, it's a surprise that this game was so low down on our list because I watched it on Friday night and it was actually quite an entertaining game. And I'm not surprised that this fixture has ended 2-2 in this one and 4-4 in the previous meeting earlier this season because it was just attack heavy from the off. Like,
Yeah, really
I'm surprised it was 0-0 at half time. I'm not surprised it ended 2-2 because it was just back and forth attacking each other's penalty box.
Well, that was it, wasn't it? Ahmad had an early chance, which Petric saves, and Bournemouth go down the other end and nearly take the lead. What was it? Tavernier puts a cross in just behind Evan Nilsson. Petric with another big save from Fernandez. And like you say, like how was it 0-0 at half time?
Fair play, shout out Petrovic. I think he's stepped up recently, been better than he was earlier in the season.
Yeah, I thought he was always quite a good keeper. I don't know.
I just think he struggled a little bit at the start of the season, but new team, new defenders in front of him. I just think he's been better in recent weeks.
Yeah, fair. Then we have a mad, was it like 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Where you have Jimenez with the most blatant penalty you're probably going to see.
The most obvious penalty. Even the camera angle that shows the referee like looking 10 yards at it, and it's just like the clearest shirt pull. It couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah, and yeah, Cunha goes down. Bruno makes it 1-0. Then we go to the Ahmed penalty, which everyone's certain is a pen, and I don't know myself.
It's never a pen.
It's not, is it?
I honestly don't think it's not a penalty at all. Like, he doesn't trip him up or anything. He has hands on him, but that's just defending.
That is it. Okay, yeah. I thought I was going crazy because everyone, like on Match Day or like on every social I've looked at, it's like, yeah, clear pen. He's like dragged him to the floor. It's like, he's not though, has he? He's like put his hands on him and he's kind of like, he's not like jerked him back or anything. He's just kind of trying
I think the worst thing of it is that Ahmed falls on the ball. So it looks like he's had his like back broken in by it, but it's like that's just an unfortunate landing.
It looked like something out of Looney Tunes, didn't it? Like,
Like
oh, cool. Then Chris go down the other end and makes it 1-1. Do you know what it is? I think it's just because they've gone down the other end and scored that they've made a big deal out of it because it's like, oh, VAR doesn't know what to do now. Oh, because there's been scored and they played the advantage. And it's like, oh, if the ref had made the right decision, it's like, fuck off.
Yeah, nah, it was good to watch at the time, and I think no penalty. Good goal from Christie, but he uses the run of Triffer that like drags Yoro out, and then he just sort of passes it into the corner. It's definitely not like he's placed it more than it having any power on it or anything.
Yeah, lovely finish though. Then we get an own goal from Hill to make it 2-1 from the corner, which Harry Maguire celebrates like he scored himself.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. There's nothing Hill can do about that.
Yeah. Then I get sent off for what is, yeah, I think it's definite red. Nothing you can complain about there for that one. Anything you're in with that?
No, I think it's a little bit similar to the Laurent one, where I think it's on the softer side of things, but I do think it's the right decision still. Like, he grabs Evan Nilsson, and yeah, I think a penalty and a red card is still the right decision, but it was a little soft.
Yeah. But it's different to the Ahmed one, isn't it? Because socials people trying to say they're the same thing. I was like, they're definitely not the same thing.
No, because Evan Nilsson's going to get a shot on.
Yeah,
like he's going to get through, and that's a tap in for him.
Yeah, and then we have Krupi scored an equaliser late in the game, just like he did at Old Trafford, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, fucking very similar games for that one, but an entertaining game all round, really. I probably should have put that above the Tyne-Wear derby. But yeah, anything else you want to touch on there?
No, that's everything for Dortmund.
Okay. We've got a week off now, which is nice. But yeah, let's get into our predictions for the 10th of April.
We kind of touched on sad 0-0 corner, but Leeds 0, Brentford 0. Another point for Leeds, edging their way to safety, but maybe 2 points missed. And for Brentford, a solid point, but didn't really turn up. It was all long balls and long throws for them.
You love a bit of edging, don't you? That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean.
Cool. Okay, yeah, let's get into the next round of games then. So, 10th April, West Ham Wolves at London Stadium, 8 o'clock kickoff. I'm guessing you're going to be there. You've got to be praying for a win, and I don't know what's going to happen in that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to win that game, so I've got to be optimistic and back us. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham.
I'm going to go 1-0 West Ham in a really scrappy game. But yeah, I think you just have to be so up for that game that you, I don't know, Wolves, good form. It's going to be an interesting one. But cool. So then go on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, Arsenal Bournemouth. Go on Bournemouth, 3-0.
I'm gonna go for a. No, I can't keep predicting Bournemouth draws. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
Cool. 3 o'clock kickoffs, Brentford, Everton. I'm going Everton in this. Oh no, I feel like Brentford are gonna make me look silly.
This is a really difficult one because Everton have got such a good defensive record this season, and Brentford have started a little bit in recent weeks.
That's what I mean. The slip is there. I'm gonna go 0-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1.
Cool. Burnley, Brighton. I want to say Burnley can do something, but let's be honest, Brighton are go on a run now, aren't they? 2-0 Brighton.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 Brighton.
And then Liverpool, Fulham at 5:30, the Harry Wilson derby. I'm gonna go Fulham 3-1 in this.
Oof.
Am I going crazy? But didn't this game already happen this season?
No.
No, I'm thinking of the reverse picture.
It's early. We're recording in the morning. Alex, are you all right, mate?
No, I thought this was at Craven Cottage for some reason. I was like,
yeah, no. I don't think Fulham are gonna get their revenge on that bad VAR call in that match. I think Liverpool are gonna win this one 2-1.
Cool. Then Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoffs.
Crystal Palace v Newcastle. Alex, was you on it so early?
I think it's going to be a dreadful game. I think we're going to lose 2-0, but we would have beaten Fiorentina in midweek, so it'll be okay.
Oh, Fiorentina in the Conference League brings back some memories. That.
Yeah, Tom was one of the ones throwing the cups at the Fiorentina players.
Yeah, too right. I wish I was in Prague. No, Crystal Palace with Newcastle. I'm going to go 1-1.
That's cool. And then Forest Villa. I can only see a Villa win here, I'm being honest. Which, that kind of goes back to talking about the Forest momentum. This is a bad game to come up against straight away afterwards.
I don't know. I can see Forest getting something.
Really? Maybe I should back my Tammy Abraham curse more, but I'm going to go 2-1 Villa.
I'm going to go 1-1.
And then Sunderland Spurs. I'll go 2-0 Sunderland. Straight up.
This is probably where I need to turn my attention to the other team losing. Gonna go Sunderland 3-1.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? It feels like crumble could very much be on for Tottenham if they go 1 down. And then Monday night game, 8 o'clock, the United Leeds, Yorkshire, Lancashire derby. I'm going to Desmond for this one.
Oh shit, I haven't done Desmond. Yeah,
you're going to have to.
I'll join you. 2-2.
Lock it in. Cool, okay. Cheers for that this week. So feel free to rate and review the podcast and tell your friends. And follow us on socials at TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Reddit at Other14FC Podcast. And email in at other14podcast@gmail.com. But yeah, otherwise, hope everyone has a good Easter and we'll catch you next week. It is Easter in between us, isn't it? No?
Yes, Easter is the 4th to the 6th.
What I was talking about Easter wasn't even anything close to being religious.
I'm getting a neck tattoo.
An antichrist on my head. Okay, have a good one, all. See you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.